What's up, my guys? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark, man. I'm your host, Jay Money. Follow me on Twitter at Jay Money is Money. That's my guy, the Shark. Follow him on Twitter at Shark and Sports, man. Y'all know what's up. It's Thursday. We're trying to get to some cash, man. Sorry we couldn't go on yesterday. It got all type of stuff going on. And this will probably be the last time. This is the last time we're going live in this particular space. The next time I go live, we will be in a different. My guy, what's up, Shark? Everything good with you?
Oh, excellent. Thirsty Thursday, May 13th, 2021, coming off another great night in the NBA. And Jay said it, the last recording in the studio. I mean, you got a little nostalgic here, little tears coming down. We're going to have a pop champagne at the end of this and a little, like a big celebration. I mean, when I move out of a house, I honestly do get a little emotional. I think about all the work I put in the process and just how great, greatness came from it. So congratulations to you for the move. And honestly, self-reflection, man, that's some powerful stuff. Like, we call each other the legends. It's a joke, obviously, for those who might think we're a little bit egotistical. But at the same time, bro, I appreciate the hell out of you. So congratulations on the move. And honestly, a hell of a lot of work in the house you're sitting in now. And let's go to the card. I mean, obviously, a big card today, a lot going on here. I think everybody wants to bet the whole board. We are homing in on the top plays. And, Jay, where do you want to begin?
I want to go to Chicago, man. At one point, dude told like, man, Jay from Chicago, man. He loved the Bulls. I'm like, bro, I'm not from Chicago. You see what I'm saying? I think they had a lot of upside. I mean, they had their ups and they had their downs, but I think that it's kind of up right now. I mean, obviously, it's towards the end of the season, not really a whole lot to play for. But we had the Bulls here, line open up at 9.5. It's up to 10, my guys. Like the Bulls, so they're just not. So Michael Jordan's not on this team. You see what I'm saying? But they do have a Zach LaVine out there that's locked in, Shari. So what you were saying about the whole close, I'm seeing it with him. I watched the Bulls last game and that they lost or whatever. I'm looking at Zach LaVine and he had some, like, they could have got blown out by 20, 30 points. Zach LaVine say, no, I'm balling. I'm pissed. There's no smiles, anything. Like, the last time I seen that is when LeBron had over there in Miami. But what we liking with the Bulls here, Shari? I think this is a nice little collaboration here, my guy. What we like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I said it going back 4 or 5 days ago when I saw the interview that Zach LaVine gave on ESPN after the Celtics win. I think it was actually last Friday night. I mean, the guy had venom in his eyes, and he said, I'm not coming back from this injury to just play out the season. We're trying to make the playoffs, and we want to annihilate people. He didn't actually use the word annihilate, but I saw annihilation in his eyes. And they have been doing that. And, of course, the last game was not necessarily representative of that. If there was one game in this 6-game window that would be a throwout, it would have been a revenge game for Brooklyn, who had lost previously in Chicago. Obviously, Brooklyn took care of business. They played a great game. And Brooklyn was also coming up. They had been too lackluster coming into that game. So that was just irrelevant to the general comment. We go back to the streets today. Chicago's Chaz City, Kanye West, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, DJ Armstrong. And when we really go into it, we find the Bulls on a bloodbath tour. And we find the Raptors coming in here having been eliminated from the playoffs, no motivation. I was saying the Raptors do have motivation. They did for a while. They don't now. It's over for them right now. And you find a good line number, -4.5 Bulls, 122-113 in Toronto, a cover and a win. This comes up to 9. It should come up to 7.5. It has 1.5 points of strength to Chicago. I think Chicago wins the game between 15 and 25 points.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a smack city spot, man. This one could get ugly. It's not so obviously it's a bet against with the and I understand. We look at it that it's a big spread. This is one that I already knew I would be on. We know that the Bulls just took. I mean, they were supposed to lose versus the Nets. We came on here and told you that hey, the Nets probably get it done with them. You see what they probably get it done in this game, and they went out there played a good game. But like I say, the Bulls still played a representative game, even with the Nets playing so well. Like I said, they could have got blown out by 20. Zach LaVine coming off threes, getting to the foul line. I like what they're doing here. They're doing exactly what the Timberwolves are trying to do. They're trying to build towards next year. See what I'm saying? They're trying to go out with a bang and bring some momentum into. You don't want to just be terrible. Forget that draft pick, man. We got some good players already. Let's try and build something, man. It's all about winning mentality. You don't want to have a lose mentality. So I understand, but I don't really like what the Raptors are doing over here because it's not necessarily that they're trying to lose the game. It's just they're not really going after the win. You see what I'm saying? Which you can kind of just defer to the first, but you know what I'm saying here. They're resting a boatload of guys. No Lowry, no Siakam, no Van Fleet, even Boucher. Boucher came back off an injury last game. They say, you know what? We don't even want you to play as well. They pretty much just rest Shark. So it's tough to see it here, but I do think it works out in our favor as well, let alone all the other points going well for the Bulls, still playing hard at the end of the season.
One final point on this. If you go back in the last 12 to 15 games with Toronto, They traveled well at the West. They did us dirty against the Clippers. That was more so on the Clippers just not playing for whatever reason. They did cover against the Lakers. They didn't cover against Denver, and they covered against Utah. Again, you have to look at the environmental shift here. Playing a road game at Chicago, a motivated Chicago team, has nothing to do with covering at West contenders who are not taking you seriously. And Toronto has traveled much more poorly against the spread versus the East. Final comment on that for me, and do you want to move on?
Yeah, no, that's it for me, man. I'm on the Bulls. I already took them, put a little something on the Bulls, man, minus the 10. So that's what we like it, man. Let's go to the next game that you like. So we're talking about the Timberwolves, two teams that's already eliminated from the playoffs, but they're showing that they're still playing hard. So you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be undervalued. We had the Nuggets laying 6 on the road. They could barely get it done versus the Hornets. I must say the Wolves gonna give them a much tougher task than the Hornets did. These boys kind of traveling all over the country. Then they go back to the house for, if I'm not mistaken, kind of a big game the next game. What we liking in here? What we looking at? The home dog? Are we howling again with the Wolves? My God,
we are, and this is a real box checker for me. When you really look at this is a double revenge game. Denver did beat them down twice at home early season, but of course I've said this numerous times. This squad, you can throw out anything that happened before about 15 games ago. Our boy Finch came in there. There were some growing pains, some adjustments. Beasley has come back. Anthony Edwards, shout to Georgia, a product from the SEC. And ultimately, Karl Anthony Towns, maybe a better leader than we think, along with D'Lo. The group has depth. They're athletic, and they're finding continuity. And when you really find this is a great corollary to how they played at home against Golden State, a 126-114 outright win as a +4 dog. That was the same exact environment. They had lost twice and not covered either game at Golden State. You find the same environment here. Double revenge game off 2 non-covers, line scaling against the outcome and the line prior. All boxes checked. I think they might win the game outright here, to be honest.
Gotcha. Yeah, the way that the Wolves been playing, man, I definitely couldn't talk you out of this one, my guy. I might ride with you here, especially I was looking at it as well. I'm like home dog here. I mean, this is definitely a winnable game for them. We see the Nuggets start to be sputtering. I mean, they might win the game, but not necessarily cover the spread. So I mean, like you say, the Wolves, they won two of 3 on their road trip. Been starting to juice up. I mean, these are things I already know. I mean, I told guys at the beginning of the season, so this Timberwolves team is a good team. It's just Russell got hurt, then Karl-Anthony Towns, then Russell come back, Towns out again, so they could never really find any continuity. They're finding it now, and I kind of like how they were bringing Russell off the bench because it's just really adding to their depth. Rubio is still a starting point guard in this league. They run them together late in the game. I like what they're doing over there, and most importantly, they have a coach now that's starting to juice them up, man, and have them boys prepared for a game. So definitely, it's definitely Timberwolves or nothing for me here, my guy. I might ride with you on that one, man. Let's get to another game. So let's go to some of these early games, my guy. I want to talk about this Bucks versus Pacers spot because what I've been seeing from the Bucks is very uninspired basketball. They come and win the game. It's almost like they make sure that they don't cover the spread. Just what I've been seeing. Some in that Magic game was really telling. They got up 15, 16 minutes to 2 minutes to go, and I'm just really watching it close. I really wanted to see what's going down, and exactly what happened. They didn't cover the spread. It's almost like it was on purpose. So I mean, we could be some other stuff going, but regardless, they're not covering spreads right now. So it's almost kind of flip-flop with the Pacers. Starting to cover, man. Guys starting to juice up, man, at the house. I remember a time Shark went, is the ESPN commercials playing? Because we cash when they play.
I think ESPN actually is illegal, and this is totally out of context. I don't think they're allowed to do this on their website, just stream commercials continuously. I think it's actually illegal. Like there's regulations against that. But I think maybe the bookies are doing it just to try to get in our way. We will not allow that. Jay, continue. Indiana Pacers at home hosting Milwaukee Bucks in a double revenge game. Please speak.
Yeah. I can only look towards Pacers here, guys. I think it's an uninspired spot. So there's only a few more games that the Bucks may play hard, maybe one more. I think they'll play one more good game versus the Heat. Other than that, the other 2 games, I think what is Pacers and Bulls. Those 2 games, I can see the Bucks just being, especially the Bulls spot. It's a back-to-back after the Heat and on the road. Yeah, they're definitely laying down versus the Bulls. I can see them dropping this game, guys. Just where I'm going. I know that they somewhat own the Pacers. You see what I'm saying? The Pacers have been trash here. So what? They smacked them up 130 to 110, smacked them up 140 to 113. And I believe they had Turner in those games. So, but I must say they're starting to play a little different. Obviously, it would be nice if the rest of the couple guys, nothing some super strong on, but just the form that the Bucks are in right now, guys. What I'm coming to tell you is I would not be laying the points with them. They seem very uninspired, and the Pacers have actually starting to show some juice and starting to play a lot better, showing that they're the coach is really trying to do everything he can to save his job, even though it may not be enough. He's at least trying a lot hard, and it's showing, in my opinion. So, any thoughts on this one, my guy?
Yeah, double revenge game, obviously 2 blowouts, as you just said. One of them, I looked into it, they did not have their players. I'm not sure about Turner, but all their other guys did not play in that game. The first one, they did have a full roster. But again, we've been saying this all year. Indy has just been really inconsistent. They can't defend. I mean, 130 against, 143 against. It's been kind of the tail of the season. Bjorkgren came in with some sort of offensive scheme. An offensive scheme is fine, but you can't just not play defense. Play great offense, but you got to play some defense too. And they've been horrendous. So, but they have turned a corner here, which is bizarre. I mean, obviously, the last 5 home games of the year, it's like you're terrible for 25. All of a sudden, you find it with the last 5. But
Right.
They have found something. They've been pretty solid. They beat Philly outright. And I think this could correlate. Nothing official for me, but I do think when you're finding this environment where they're percolating at home, it would be a nice little buy in the double revenge spot here. I always say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one campaign, particularly a rival in your division.
Exactly, and you add in the fact, so all of that, and you add in the fact that it's just the Bucks are they're pretty much locked into their playoff seed. It's just not a whole lot of motivation. There's not a whole lot of reason to go balls to the wall here, guys. So I'd be on the Pacers. In all honesty, I think it's a winnable game for the Pacers. If they continue to play the way they've been playing. One of the Holiday brothers is a question about, I believe it's Aaron Holiday, the little short brother, the youngest one, but still, we have to remember it's 2 Holiday brothers playing up against their brother, Drew Holiday. They're going to come to play, my guys. You don't want to keep getting smacked up by Big Girl, even though he's the best one by far. Heavy lean to Pacers, my guys, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to maybe see the Bucks maybe not take this game as serious. The Heat game, that's the last game they'll probably take serious, and Bulls versus Bucks, the last game is. We'll be on that one for sure. Clippers versus Hornets, my guy. Any thoughts on this one? Clippers pretty much laying the same spread on the road. Let's say I almost feel the same type of way, man. Do the Clippers try to slide down to the 4th seed or something? What you think here, my guy?
It's a toss for me. When you look back on the previous game, 125-98 Clippers in Staples, they had actually caught Charlotte in that brutal environment where they play the Lakers and the Clippers back-to-back games, hanging out in LA overnight. And we see it with certain teams like the Knicks. The Knicks are professionals. They did not go out, and they competed the hell out of both of those games. Charlotte Hornets are a little bit different. You got a bunch of young guys, and I mean, I don't know their personality specifically, but I do suspect their group is a little bit less disciplined in LA than the Knicks. And I think you saw that 125-98, a blowout. They were useless. Then they actually backed up that road trip with a win at San Antonio and a win at the Southwest as well. So it was just a black hole in the middle of a trip for them, the back end of a Pacific 3-game sample. And when you come home here, as you said, the line is sticking a little bit too strongly to the Clippers. And the Clippers do have some motivation here. And the Clippers have been lackluster against the spread for a period of time where they should theoretically come up. You do get the revenge game, and you get that dynamic as well. So it's pretty much the definition of a no play for me.
Exactly. Yeah, and so the Clippers, the game of the year for them is tomorrow versus the Rockets. You see what I'm saying? So it's a huge look ahead spot. You see what I'm saying? So nah, I'm messing with y'all, man. So yeah, the Clippers, they have the Rockets and the Thunder on deck, guys. So I mean, to close out the stretch, they have like one of the hardest schedules.
Those Rockets catch people napping. You see the Lakers lay down to them last night against the spread. I mean, it's free money, right?
Yeah, I fell asleep on that game, but I knew that the Lakers wasn't going to cover. What, they just won by 2? Quietly, I think the Rockets have covered like 4 straight games, no lie.
Yeah, they get they just get the opponent's worst effort. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, they might cover versus Clippers, man. So this is just so crazy. So it's tough to talk about 76 versus Heat. So 2 huge question marks. Maybe both of them play. You never know, because some of these teams, they do kind of want to hold their cards or whatever, not really show, you know what I'm saying, show everything until playoff time. Could be a potential playoff matchup. These 2 teams always go at it. Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler. And those are the main 2 guys that don't like each other, that always go at each other or whatever. So what you think with this? Do you think that they'll play, or what's your hunch on this game, guy?
I am a professional sports prognosticator. I am not a professional at prognosticating roster injury evaluations in the 2021 campaign. Flip a coin at 7:21 p.m. and you might get there. I don't know, but general comment on this game. The Heat did lose twice to Philly in a back-to-back scenario in Philly earlier this year. These are not cross-referencing points, though. Jimmy Butler didn't play in either of those games, and I believe Bam Adebayo also did not play in either of those games. The line was -9 Philly, 137, 134, no cover. They came back. The line went against it to 7 the next night or 2 nights later, and they did cover. They blew them out. So line functionality here doesn't necessarily matter. Strong line, no cover. Weaker line, cover. And that's where we look at the abstraction. This has zero transparency at -1.5. The line is scaling against, but again, it's a totally different roster group. There's not a whole lot to say here. You could make the comment, Heat double revenge game. Heat aren't really showing signs. That would probably be my natural lean. I think you get a big motivated effort here, but definitely nothing official from me.
That's what I want to. So look, so the first game they had Embiid, they had Simmons, like no Curry, no Harris. You dig it? So no Curry, no Harris in the first one. You still have no business going to the. It was probably just a letdown game. So rock on ice, as my guy would say. Yeah, it looks like they didn't have. Oh boy, they didn't have Dragic. They didn't have Bullard. They didn't have Adebayo. What? Oh boy, I mean that was before they had Trevor Ariza. It was not a good lineup. They had no business going to so that's showing you that the Heat can, in theory, hang with them. I'm with you, bro. Full squad here, maybe. So we know Joel Embiid, in theory, has an illness. We don't know if it's a real deal illness, if he just didn't want to play in the last game. Like we'll see if they get up for this one. Maybe 70. So look, he kind of handed them 2 away. Maybe 76 is like, okay, we rest in B. We don't want to show our cards this time. It just this today's in because that's exactly what happened. I feel like those 2 games, the Heat like we don't want to show our cards in this game.
It's just for me, I can't cap this because the rosters were just so different prior. It's almost like 2 different teams. So it's just it's like we always say the third matchup is great because you have a lot of information. This is a fraudulent third matchup. You don't have a lot of good information here. So lean Heat, but definitely nothing official from me here.
Got you. Yeah, heavy leans for me as well for the Heat, my guys. Let's go to the next game. A few more games talking about Spurs versus Knicks, my guy. Knicks 4.5. First game back at the house from a road trip. Not necessarily a good road trip, though. You see what I'm saying? Spurs on the back-to-back. Kind of sort of have. I mean, the Kings are, in theory, not out of the play-in tournament. I guess the Spurs will have to drop the rest of their games. The Kings will have to win out. What are we doing here? But I mean, Spurs might keep the 10th seed. What are we doing here? Do they not show up back-to-back nights, or what do you think in this one, my guy?
This is a tough one, and I mean, I got to give a shout out to Nets Bets. You got some Taco Bell last night. Listening to a house music song, personally recommended from Sharp. And
Taco Bell, man,
temporarily putting his Nets Bet status on the shelf for a night. It's Knicks Bets, baby, and that'll make sense. I wanted to take the Knicks. It's just a difficult take because I really wanted the Spurs to compete last night. The Spurs absolutely laid down last night. They were down 35-20 in the first quarter, and they didn't compete the whole game. They got a little bit close in the fourth and then just melted it back. And this is what the Spurs do, unfortunately. They're very inconsistent game to game. The reasoning that you could argue they sucked so badly at Brooklyn last night is because J Money is Money, the legend himself, had them at home, and they blew out the Bucks the previous game. So again, it's the consistency to the inconsistency. They blow out the Bucks. They're way too hot. It's hard to back that kind of success up with more success. They come into Brooklyn and totally lay down. They didn't give a big effort. Their energy wasn't there. Now they come back against the Knicks, and this is where I just don't like taking the Knicks. When you look at what the Spurs did against Miami, 116-111 push. At Boston, lost by 3 points in overtime after being up 29 in the first half, and a 143-140 win at Washington on a 2.5. So you get a hook win, a 1-point win, and a push. And I think when you look at this number, cross with what the Knicks did on the road, the Knicks played a horrendous 119-93 loss game in San Antonio, probably the worst game of the year. This line is holding a little bit of weight towards San Antonio here. And I just think off of an absolute dud, this is what they do. They come back and they catch the Knicks off a long road trip and a representative road trip here. I mean, the Knicks competed in every single game outside of Denver and Phoenix. But the last 2, they were right there. And I just think it's not so much I don't think the Knicks will play well because the Knicks are very well coached and they compete. It's more so the inconsistency of the Spurs. I think the Spurs could just show up here just out of nowhere and play a good game. I think it's going to hover. It's going to be a sharp line, so no take from me.
You know what's another problem as well? I know you're not real big on the rosters, but so Burks and Quickly were already kind of hurt. They could possibly come back here. Now you have Bullock and Rose, two starters. Rose is not a fucking bench player. He's a starter. He gives them their starter minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just because he comes off the bench, what he means to the team, he's a starter. So Rose and Bullock not out there. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna be missing some points. They're questionable, so it's just Rose questionable, Bullock, a couple of question marks that you guys want to see. It is a low line right now, I must say. It's me looking right now. We go to the bar, just like me looking at the cars, like, oh, that Knicks minus 4.5 easy. That's a problem for me. That's a problem. If I just look at it like that 4.5 looks too. Spurs been trashed. The Spurs trash, like everybody in the chat saying, Spurs trash shit. So when that happens, I always say on the SBR show, whoever come over there and trash somebody, they win the game outright almost every time.
And Jay, we say this almost every single day. Why do people say they're trash? Because they got blown out last night. People have an uncanny ability of thinking that what just happened will always repeat itself the next day. It's quite the opposite. Teams and human beings function on averages. When your average hovers in the middle and you are way below your average the night before, to get back to your average, you should be above your average the next night. I expect a good effort here. And again, last thing I'll say, go through their last couple games on the road. They're right on the number. They compete at the East, man. They compete at the East. It's going to be a tough one.
It is, my guy. Kings versus Grizzlies. Did you have anything?
I had a look here. I mean, not really anything that I would love to put on record for Hall of Fame pick of the day, but you do get an interesting environment here with the Kings. The Kings have turned a corner without De'Aaron Fox. They've been solid, and I think it actually kind of corroborates what you and I were saying 4 months ago, is just this disconnect between Fox and the rest of the group and whatever was going on with the parents on Twitter. But 100%, like when he's out, he's their best player probably, and the team turns up, that's psychological. They have better continuity in the locker room without him. That's something, after the season they're going to have to figure out. But they're turning the corner, and they come in here. They're a revenge game on the road. The Grizzlies are off a blowout of the Mavs. And I don't like the Grizzlies to back up a 29-point win with another blowout win. I think this could be tight.
Yeah, and so look, and my problem here is, and why I think the Kings are taking money is because, like, in theory, they're still not out of the race. Like, say if the Spurs did lose and the Kings won, if they keep winning, Spurs keep losing, literally, they could take over the 10 seed. So it's not out of the question. And when they know that, I mean, you're catching points, you know what I'm saying? You're playing with desperation. I wouldn't be betting against, especially when you're taking points, because obviously you have a choice they're going for the win, and you could lose the game, and they could lose by 7. You still good. So Kings are nothing for me, I must say. Let's get so we already talked about. So it's Bulls for us. Bulls. My guy, like the Wolves. Wolves. Last one, Blazers, Suns. My guy. Suns laying 5.5. Blazers coming off. Blazers took care of us yesterday. My guy with the hell of a call there yesterday. That line was getting smacked down from 4.5 all the way to +1. To 1. So very nice call there, my guy. Sorry, I rode with you. It's nice for it to come through. What you think? How did the Blazers put together a back-to-back effort? We know they don't play a lot of defense, but Suns hadn't been playing a lot of defense either lately.
This is really tough. The Blazers have lost twice to the Suns already. I think they're 0-2 ATS against the Suns. So you get kind of the same dynamic you got last night. Off 2 non-covers before, you get a double revenge game, and you also get a double revenge game against the spread. The only issue now is that they're on a 3rd and 4 road back-to-back off of that win. And Phoenix has been inconsistent and very above average situationally at home against the West. I think the line is very sharp. I crossed it with the previous games, and I thought it was within 1 or 2 buckets of strength either way. Definitely a no take for me on this one.
You know what's crazy, Shark? Ever since I was kind of saying this, Shark, that the Suns might try and tank to get away from the Lakers and Warriors, they lost 2 straight games, bro. So I don't know what's going. I'm just saying. I know a lot of people don't really believe in it, but shit like that's going. I mean, because they hadn't rested players. But I mean, you let the Warriors go. I mean, literally, they were up by good 12 to 13 points versus the Warriors, literally dominating that game. But for they just let them creep right back off in there. And then the second half was just the Warriors just owned them. So it's like maybe the Suns are just trying to low key get away from the Lakers, man. It's the only thing I'm saying, my guys.
And one comment, I'm looking at that. I'm looking in the chat. Joshua Jones, my man, I respect him. I like his commentary in the chat. He said this spot is similar to when Portland played the Hawks. It's not similar. They were on an East Coast trip, and the Hawks were in a revenge game there. And the Hawks needed to win, and the Hawks have been lackluster. This is a double revenge game for Portland, and it's within the conference, and it's a totally different environment, just as a point of reference.
Man, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. I ain't betting against the Blazers right now, bro. Like, so look, their offense is scorching hot. Like the sun, like the Phoenix Suns, a sun. That's how these motherfuckers hot. They won 9 of the past 10. Haven't been covering all the spreads. Obviously, lackluster versus Houston. Barely didn't cover versus the Lakers. But I mean, so what? Still 7-3 against the spread last 10. These boys, I mean, they're starting to get deadly. Boys, man. So Suns have a really good defense, but it's been lacking, guys. So, and like I say, since I said that, I'm not messing with this game, but since I was just saying that, throwing out that theory that they might try and get away from the Warriors or the Lakers in their first, they lost 2 straight, my guys. So it's just what it is. But yeah, I'm on Bulls, man. Bulls for me, -10. Bulls. Like Blackjack say, man. Love the hat. Nice little camo. You see what I'm saying? I dig it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I originally bought the camo hat because I thought, truly, if you look at this Bulls team in this 2021 campaign, they are kind of that team. They're in camo. They're unexpected. They cover games when you don't expect them to do it. We're finding them in a different environment here to close it out. And, of course, I said this numerous times. I'll say it one more time. Zach LaVine made the comment on ESPN, and they have shown he is ahead of the game. He is their leader, and they're showing out. Blowout at Charlotte, blowout home against Boston, blowout against Detroit. Of course, the Nets game was a throwout, a totally different environment. They come back, they catch a lackluster Raptors team. They lay a big figure for a reason. It's the average, not the price. It's not a yard sale. They're telling you this is going to come up in strength of an average. Bulls should win this game handily tonight. And my second play of the day, Minnesota +5. You get a double revenge game. This is a great corollary to how they played a double revenge game at home on a similar figure against Golden State. Minnesota is turned up. They are far better than their record suggests. They have found continuity, deep roster, very motivated, and I think they could win this game outright tonight. Jake, close them out.
Got you. Yeah, I like the Bulls, man. Hey, we're liking the Bulls. We understand they do have it pretty high. They don't want, you know what I'm saying? I think it's high for a reason, man. Bulls by double digits. Smack City, smash spot tonight, man, for the Bulls. I like it. I think, and they've already beaten the Raptors twice already this year. So I mean, you could argue double revenge for the Raptors, or you could argue that the Bulls just own them and they're just a better team, even with the Raptors guys out there. So I mean, you take a look at the injury report, and it obviously it's built in. That's why the line is going up so high. But they got quite a bit of guys out for the Raptors. They're not necessarily showing that they're coming to ball here. That's let's thing. Obviously, the other guys like Malachi Flynn coming to ball. The guy's a baller, but I think Kobe White stepped further. You see what I'm saying? Zach LaVine, need you to put your 2-3 on tonight. You put the Jordan jersey on tonight. You add Kyle Jordan. I just want to put it on for one night. Jay Money and Shark almost I'm messing with you, but I might ride with my guy there with Wolves +5 there. Like it's up to 6 now. Let me see. Like it. What's this official line? No, that was a stale line there. So it's down to 4.5. They're showing sharp money coming on the Wolves here. I think if they're gonna cover, they might win, man. So it's a definite sharp take. Let me see. Just real quick, the Heat are up to 2 now, my guys. It was a +1 this morning. It's up to 2, so just take that one for what it's worth. It's really a lot of strength coming towards the Heat and there. Heavy lean to Pacers, my guys. The Bucks, they may not even show up here, to be honest with you. I could see the Pacers possibly win that game outright. Might get there with that one as well, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, guys. 308 people watching live. Please hit the like button, subscribe, man. Follow my guy on Twitter at Sharkin Sports. He do them little 2-minute quick hitters on his Twitter page, my guy. Go and follow me as well at JMoneyIsMoney. And we appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. That's my guy, Shark. I'm your host, J Money. We out.